y'all, hey, we back for another review of Ruthless. We're on season 4, episode 15, entitled Do or Die. We are back at the ambush, being led to believe that the Highs got into that Rolls Royce, but we know better than that. The FBI surrounds the cars, and the Highs is not in there. And of course, the two people were about to get arrested because the Rolls Royce is stolen, but they ain't coming up off no information. They're not telling, the two investigators what is going on, Cal and Desiree. They're not telling them any information. And so they have no choice but to go back to the office and wait on the warrant. Or they're going to have to try to talk to Aaron's dad to, get him to give them a warrant to get into the compound. And so Desiree, while they're standing off to the side talking, Desiree asks Cal, like, where's Mac? Because nobody has seen him for quite some time. And, so now we need to figure out where Mac is because we know he got something to do with it. We just need to figure out, how to tie him to this thing. And then she tells Cal to send the guys. She's going to send the guys back to the compound because she has another plan brewing, up under her sleeve. And she tells him, like, listen, she tells the boys, how old are y'all? They're 16. There are 16-year-old boys that's out here with this car, no license or whatever, which is suspicious to everybody because these are 16-year-olds. They don't have no license. They don't have no identification. You ain't checking identification in a stolen car that you confirm to be stolen that you're going to send back to the compound. First of all, dumbass police work. Obviously, you've done something. Either way, she tells Cal that she put a tracker on the car. That's why she sent it back to the compound. And so Cal is pissed because we know that this isn't legal and it might not, stick in court. And she's like, listen, once he's arrested, it's up to the prosecutors or whatever to make everything stick. Well, yeah, but don't make their job harder. Like, that's dumb if it's not going to hold up in court, especially if you know that they have, Mac. They have all these people on the payroll. You don't know. They might have judges. It's a network of system that's protecting them, that has protected them thus far. So you don't know who's on the payroll. So you want to make sure this thing's going to be able to stick. But Cal is also pissed because, she's had a lot of things in the works, working on different plans and stuff that he was not privy to. And so now he wants to be, sure that he's going to be let in on the plans, which if she has all these different things, fires in the iron, where the hell was your antennas and what have you been doing? But I also think that Desiree is like the lead investigator, so it's up to her to lead these causes. So you could be let in, but she's still like the lead person that's supposed to be executing this stuff. If she isn't indeed the lead investigator, I can't recall, but she does a lot of the, initial talking and introductions and things, so I'm going to presume that she's the lead investigator. So it's within her power to do so. You don't really have to be privy, especially now that you have attitude based on what Andrew said. I'm just saying. So, whatever. Anyway, the heist in his detail, everybody that's with him gets into another van that they have off in the woods somewhere. Now they're going to head to the bank to get the last little bit of money that they need to get. And Daikon tells him that the Rolls Royce was stolen. And the heist is so delulu that he claims like the Rock who gave it to him. He don't know why they're still coming after him, trying to take, what's rightfully his. Child, I can't be bothered. I just cannot. And again, y'all are following somebody that is so far removed from earth, from logic. Don't really make sense to me, but whatever. Ruth is, back on her BS and she up to something. She trying to find something. So she goes to one of the buses and she finds some keys, and still commences to looking around, trying to find anything that'll lead her to where those kids ended up. And then Lewis finds her in there and sees that she's snooping around. And he tells her, like, listen, we're about to go. Our plan is to go. He claims that once he gets paid, he'll help her look for her daughter, and also tells her that Bridget is still, on task, which I guess Bridget is going to help him. Later on in the episode, we find out that Bridget is like his little boo thing within the compound as well. She's on task, but, she's not aware of anything that's happening. And Ruth reminds me, like, listen, once this thing starts rolling, y'all can't back out. So I need you to make sure your people are on task. And so, they have that little dialogue and we're going to team on 3, we're going to break. And Bridget sees them leaving the bus. Bridget sees Ruth and Lewis leaving the bus. So now, she's got a little attitude and she wants to know what the hell is going on. And of course, that'll come back later on in the episode. Marva goes to see Lacey and Laura and see how they're doing with the laundry. And, she's like, everything was great, elder mother, putting on these smiles. And, Marva tells Lacey to tell Laura, how badly she was punished for being a traitor. And, she's reveling in it. And so Lacey's just giving Laura just the surface level, answers like, I was punished, I deserved it, da 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 da. Marva is none the wiser knowing that Laura already knows everything. Laura is not as lucid as you believe her to be. And so we're just playing this game, while you over here smiling and you proud that you think you reformed a traitor. You've done nothing but gave her more ammunition to kill you and get the hell up out of there. Either way, now Marva entrusts Laura because Laura seems to think, she thinks that Laura is buying into it. So she tells Laura, watch her until after she's done with the laundry. And once she leaves, we break character. And Lacey tells her, listen, don't act too level-headed. Still act like you kind of loopy or whatever until, we figure out the next steps. Because if you act too sound and too level-headed, she's going to give you some more of that little, that potion she got going on. So you need to keep going. And she also tells her, like, listen, River may be able to help you figure out where your husband is, so you should go to him. Wait till Marva gets out of here, wait till the coast is clear, and you're gonna go look for River. And if anybody asks you anything, just tell them you're going to the outhouse. But you need to, again, be careful, and also prepare your heart and your mind to know, like, it might not lead to anything, but that'll be your first stop if you want to try to figure out where your husband is. All right. Ruth is trying the keys on the car, again, trying to search for any information that's going to tell her where these kids ended up. River rolls up on her asking questions, and she's like, listen, I don't have time for your shit. What is it? And she tells him, like, listen, I'm looking for any clue that's going to lead to my daughter. And River just flat out asks the $1 million question that needs to be asked. What if they're not coming back? And I think I said that in my last review, like, we need to come up with a contingency in the event that they don't come back. It's probable, it's likely. And if I were to make a prediction, what I think is that the highest sent those kids to where the new compound is going to be, because they're sewing things up. They know that the FBI is, seconds from a warrant from storming the place. He's already sent the kids off to a location with the bus. Now, I got 2 predictions on where those kids are. I think the kids are already settled into the new compound, wherever that's going to be. Nobody is none the wiser, because it's going to the bank to get the last little bit of money before it's time to head out, right? So I think the kids may already be there. Or the second guess, because I think he's also training those kids to be drug mules for the cartel. And so maybe they're off in training, but that one is less likely, because we also know, we found out in this episode that we found out a long time ago as well, that they've been skimming money from the cartel, which is probably where this money is coming from that they're getting from these different banks. So once the cartel realizes that y'all been skimming money, they're going to come to the compound to get their shit back as well. And so my strongest assumption is that those kids are already off into, the new location, because it's going to be time to move here very, very soon. And so, again, she's looking for any clue that's going to lead to the kids. And River asks her, hey, what if they don't come back? We need to consider it. And, you see a break in Ruth's tough exterior. We actually see a little thug tear shed, because she doesn't want to face the fact that this is a probability. It's likely. And he tells her, listen, we got to come up with a plan B, and we got to do it quick. She's not wanting to hear it. And it's a hard pill, but it's gotta be swallowed. It's where we are with this thing. And so he also tells her, listen, while you're thinking about that, let me go ahead and add some more baggage to your bag, right? And he tells her, listen, I got a new problem with my new boyfriend, Peter. He's been sent to the punishment trailer, and Ruth can't be bothered. Okay, what you want me to do about it? And he's like, listen, did you tell him about our plan? No, I didn't tell him about us. But, he was in on my plan to help us get out of here. And I need you to help me. I need you to help me get out of this. And he tells her what Jones suggests as far as giving him, a little potion that's going to get him up out of here so that he does not talk. And she reminds him, like, Elder Mother doesn't let anybody near the food. That stuff has been locked up since Tally did whatever she did to poison somebody. There is cyanide in there, but it's going to be hard to get to. So you need to figure out what's something. And you also need to do it before they get back, because we got other things in motion and we don't have time to deal with that. And also, Ruth reminds him, like, listen, is the potion the only option? Like, you can't use that brain of yours to come up with something else. If you can't get to the potion, you can't get to the cyanide, just get it done by any means necessary. Like, if you got to use brute strength, if you got to come up with something, figure it out. I can't be bothered. a good day. And so he's like, I'll get it done. I'll figure it out like I always do. Boy, shut up. Don't put too much dip on your chip, because you was just begging her for insight. So don't act like you got it under control when in fact you do not. All right. Malcolm is still trying to get Peter to trust him in the punishment trailer and trying to help him out. And Peter is not letting up. He's trying to make Malcolm believe that he believes in the Raku and the highest. And Malcolm is like, all right, cool. Since we're here, I'm going to run you down some facts. His name is Tyrone. Tyrone, whatever his last name is. And he was in prison for robbery and child endangerment. He was raped in prison repeatedly. And Daikon, whose real name was Anthony, came to help him out. He's been his protection ever since. And they ended up falling in love. And Peter is not buying it. He cannot fathom the fact that his all-knowing, all-seeing highest ain't nothing more than a common core criminal with some mental health issues. Malcolm tells him, like, listen, you were preyed upon. We know your file. We know that he met you at a bus stop when you were a young kid. I'm sure he promised you a better life and, paradise and all these other things. And Peter cracks a little bit. He's like, listen, I don't know, because he told me, that the government would never be able to penetrate us here, yet you're here. So, he kind of showed the cracks, but he didn't fall too deep into Malcolm's statements. But I feel like he might crack. He might crack, just realizing, everything that Malcolm has portrayed to him. So, we'll see how that develops. But it'll be interesting to see, because hell, if River gets to you first, it won't really matter, because, you probably be taken off the earth by the time you fall from what Malcolm got going on. We'll see. Either way, back at the precinct, we learned that they have taken about $3 million. Another investigator is talking to Cal and Desiree, whatever his name is, the guy that tried to get Andrew to break last episode. And we've gotten some research, and we learned that they've taken about $3 million out of 7 different banks. And then they tell us that they know about Lilo and his connections to the cartel. They tell us that the Raku and the highest in them has been laundering money through the cult, and they've been skimming money off. They've been washing money for the cartel, but they've also been skimming money for quite some time. But we also realized that Joan ain't as feeble-minded as she pretends to be. We learned that Joan was an accountant in a past life, and Joan has skimmed her own considerable amount of money off of her laundering schemes from the cartel. She has put $1 million in her own company's account, and Joan worked at the accounting firm that Aaron's wife also worked with. So that is, Ruth ain't no slow leak, and she knows that, Laura and Aaron and Joan know each other, and she could not figure out what the connection was. And so the FBI confirms to us, letting us know, like, hey, so Laura and Joan worked at the same accounting firm. And so the assumption is that Laura brought her and Aaron there. Aaron is none the wiser. He thinks that everybody's bought into the Raku. Laura has just succumbed to, the highest and his things, but I think she came there to help Joan, skim off a little bit more money before they made their own escape as well. So everybody's got, 2 or 3 different escape plans going on, and I don't blame you, because if I'm gonna do anything, I'm gonna get paid for my pain and suffering. It just is what it is. So that is what we all learned in this segment from the FBI. All right, Lewis and I can't ever remember this man's name. Lewis and old boy are talking, and he tells him that the plan is on. Manny's still good to go. And then Bridget shows up to the front gate with some Kool-Aid or whatever she got. Uncyanided, no cyanide in it. And she's there to talk to Lewis, and she wants to know, hey, why were you talking to Ruth? What was y'all doing out there at the bus? And she doesn't like it one bit, because, we know what goes down in the bus sometimes. That's what people be hooking up at. And she doesn't like what's going on. And Lewis is like, no, it's not what you think. It's a plan going on. You just need to trust me. Ain't nothing going on. You're my favorite lady. Ain't nothing going on. I know you're a little jealous, but, calm, cool your tits. Ain't nothing happening. I just need you to trust me. So hopefully she buys it and she don't blow the plan. Hopefully she don't blow her part of the escape plan. All right, so Lewis and company, they see the Rolls Royce roll back up with no heist in there. And so they're trying to figure out what's going on. And so, the 16-year-old tells them exactly what happened with the FBI. And so they got to call Daikon to tell him the news. And Daikon just tells them, hold tight until we get back in a few hours. And we'll figure it out from there. And then the heist knows that it's time to move. It's time to move quickly, so we need to make this last bank run. It's time to move. Then Daikon calls the sheriff to see, why the guys will let go. And the sheriff tells him, like, listen, they don't tell me nothing. I'm kept out of the loop. They got a tail on me. I don't know. But what I do know is that y'all need to go get Aaron out that trunk because whatever. And Daikon is like, listen, we'll go get him tomorrow or later on the evening. He's like, listen, he's in a damn trunk. Air is limited. Y'all need to go get him. And Daikon is like, would it be so bad if we didn't? Like, what about it? And he's like, listen, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. Just don't let that boy die in my car in the back of my trunk. Go get him and y'all figure it out. All right. So Max shows back up mysteriously after hours of being missing, claims he overslept for work and that he was at the hotel all night. And then they confirm with the information like, hey, they said you went missing for a few hours. He's like, yeah, I went for a run. And they're looking at him in this 3-piece suit, like, in a suit. And he's like, yeah, I'm military. That's how we go running. No, that we don't. Stop. Cut the crap. Anyway, they offered to let him talk to Andrew, and he just feigns so much disappointment in, Andrew being converted and all this good stuff. And then they feed him some fake, what I presume to be the fake information, saying that Andrew implicated you, saying that you were involved. And I think earlier in the episode they said that they were going to feed Max some false information to see if he is the leak. So that is what I think is the false information, to see, if he's going to relay that back to the sheriff, or to see if that's going to tie him and give them information to let them know, like, he's also been corrupt as well. All right, so River's talking to Zane, and he asks her to help get some cyanide to feed to Peter so that Peter doesn't dime him out, or talk too much. And Zane insists on knowing why. She's like, well, why? What is so interesting about Peter? What is it that you need to know? And she learns that Peter was a part of the escape plan as well. And now she's agitated because she feels like, well, how long was y'all planning that? Why didn't nobody tell me? She's getting real paranoid. And she feels like she was left out of the part of the plan. And now Zane feels like River, Joan, and Ruth have left her out, and they're going to play her out, and they're going to escape without her. Now, I feel like you were out of the plan long ago when you shot that man in the head, and they feel like you had lost your mind, which could happen, in a place like this. But that's kind of why you were cut out. But I feel like Joan has a soft spot for you, and she was not going to let you get left behind. But hopefully Zane is not going to blow it with her attitude. Hopefully. Either way, Aaron is in the trunk of the car, losing air and screaming for help. Somehow he musters up the strength to kick the backseat out of the car, and he escapes, all, while his hands are tied behind his back. And that is how we end the episode. So hopefully Aaron is able to get to the FBI this time and is not intercepted, because it's just, I'm sick of it. There's no more Aaron that needs to be not seen, but tied up and all these other things. And that is how the episode ends. Let me know what you think about the episode in the comments. So like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever it is that you feel like doing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.